Okay, yeah, that was me. I screwed up. Thank you, Artzel. I would have not noticed that. I was testing it earlier and I forgot I swapped the batteries. That's what I forgot. Because normally that would be the case where I would actually swap batteries. But I guess my entire whole intro earlier is absolutely gone. Hopefully I'm not crackling because it looks like it's showing that I'm going way, way, way past into the red. But that's only in certain times. Yeah. But yeah, no, okay, so just to introduce what we're doing here, apparently all the sound was cut out after the initial test that I did before the stream. Of course, this is how streaming works. I'm so tempted right now to buy the Deity D4, which is literally USB, and it powers itself. I'm running on batteries every time, and I swap the batteries of this specific mic every time I start stream because it happened once before. It was a great mime act. Oh my god, Hartzell. Yes, the best mime. Oh my god. Not that I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I do know how to do those weird miming actions where you're like just pulling that rope, and so on and so forth. But yeah, it is a thing. For the first how long? 5 minutes of the stream, all I've been doing is going. Apparently, that's all I've been doing. Oh my god. Okay, so to start off again, we're going to go through my old keyboard collection, and the reason for that is to show off how I actually got into the keyboard rabbit hole, right? And see what else we can do here. All right, but of course, I've started with gaming keyboards, you'll see on this section. So a bunch of them are gaming keyboards, and then moving on into regular keyboards. So I do have an extra one here, actually. This one. Ta-da! I'm not gonna bother doing that. I just forgot where those went. And then we have another keyboard. So basically, I have a crap ton of keyboards. To count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 keyboards, and the 10th one is in the closet. Yeah, so there's that. I even sold one, if I remember correctly. It was the 65% after I got the better version, because I had a Ducky 1.2 Mini SF or 65 or something like that, and I got the Mecha SF, which is actually a metal version of that same keyboard. So I didn't really need that very specific keyboard. All right, so what we're gonna do is going through all of my keyboards effectively in order here. First starting with my main. Where is the music? And why doesn't it appear? It should. It should. It's here. I know it's here. Oh my god. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Oh, right. I gotta use this headphone real quick. To hear if anything's happening. Ooh, that is loud. Relatively speaking. Reduce that sound. Okay, but yes, that's effectively what we're going to be doing, is going through my entire keyboard collection, starting with my main, and then we'll go back all the way in time and go into the keyboards that started it all. I know the Corsair K70 was the first one, so we're going to do that next. First things first, we are going to go through the Mark 65. So to iterate on what I have on the Mark 65, this is basically my normal test keyboard too, and my main keyboard. Hopefully it doesn't actually get destroyed in the process of me going through it, because I just realized after breaking the NK65 multiple times in attempt to fix it and just swap it, the NK65 broke multiple times, and I'm hoping this does not, because I do want it, because the only other keyboard that I want that can replace this is the Zoom keyboards or the Neo keyboards, and I like this specific frame a little better than those. And honestly, sound hasn't been the biggest factor to me in keyboards, because when I use them, the sound kind of just goes a lot out of the window. But if I just want to play with keyboard, yes, sound is a big factor of it. Especially when I'm doing typing tests, I'm like, ooh, well, this is a nice sound. I like the profile. But other than that, I don't actually care that much for the sound, which is why I went with silent switches, and we'll get into that as well. So Mark 65, we'll start this first. Let me see if this works now. This does not work again. Oh my god. Please work, software. Okay, I've been trying to figure out this software for the longest time, and honestly, this numpad, if I hide this real quick, if I hide this numpad from Glorious, oh Jesus, don't. I'm gonna bring out my other one after this, but effectively this is I don't really like this. It's annoying. It was more annoying than it's worth. Okay, please. Oh, it works all of a sudden. Oh my god. Okay, so this is what I use as stream control. The numpad. The numpad is a stream control where, as you can hear, the music. I'm gonna max out the music here for a little bit, as you can hear. Yeah, it's capped on OBS itself. So here I just decrease it to mute it, and or if parts of the music are actually louder than I intended it to be, or is actually louder or excessively messy, then I just lower it even farther. But as you can see here, there you go. This is a nice, excessively quiet version, and then I can go up here. But I think I'm hitting the red a little too much. I want to hear what myself sounds. Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Okay, I don't sound actually that bad. I'm not peaking that much. Okay, I can hear a little bit of the warbly peaking. Okay, let me change a few things, because of course this is how it works. I changed nothing, and of course everything falls apart. Yeah, let me try something. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna go into sound settings on PC. Sound control panel. Of course, recording. Microphone, properties. Level. I don't remember that 100. Let me put this back at 95. Yeah, because the volume is much louder than normal. Oh, here it is. Okay, it's not peaking as much. Just by 5 levels of volume. Okay, there we go. That's exactly where we kind of want it to be. Not completely in the red, but cresting it basically. All right, so there we go. Maybe we'll drop it out a little bit. Let's go to 94 or 93. I think 93 would be better. Better be on the safe side. As much as I want 90, 90 seems a little too quiet, to be honest. Okay, but we'll see where it goes here. Oh my god. Where did it go? Monkey type. There we go. Alright, we're actually going to do a sound test on this Mark 65. To explain the Mark 65 a little bit here, the Mark 65 is one of the custom keyboards that I use as my main. It is the best keyboard I have, and it, I think, is effectively it's not my latest keyboard, to be honest. It is my second latest keyboard, because the NK65 is actually one of the keyboards I bought after the Mark 65, just to see how the NK65, which is the old entry level, would have actually panned out. Apparently, it's not that great. I do like it, but there was issues with it. I did make a review on it, and I posted a video about it. And the NK65 has also then broken down even further. So to me, it's one of the worst keyboards you want to start with, but there are better options to start with now. Before, there were a lot of options, but most of them defaulted to the NK65, which was the old entry level. The old entry level. If you still have it, it's still great. If it's still working, it's still great. Mine has broken down in 3 to 5 different areas. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is Mark 65. So Mark 65, I got the, what is it called? The no degree. Okay, let me just minimize this. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the flat angle. So there is no angle to the actual keyboard. There is an angle. There is an actual angle, and the reason for that is I've replaced the feet. The feet normally are this section over here, as you can see. Oh, there you go. It's really hard to see, but I guess I can make the light bounce off of it just enough. There we go. And the bottom is, you can see there is a foot there. So that foot is the regular foot on the top section. However, I added a slight angle by putting these relatively large rubber bumps compared to the bottom section. You can barely touch that. So the slightest angle change can actually create an issue. I was debating whether if I should remove this and put it over here, but that does decrease the typing angle as well. So that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be testing this currently, and I'm going to use a key mat, because this is normally how I would use a keyboard with the mat. Normally on stream, I would put it directly on the table, as you can hear, versus this, and or I would use a hard silicone mat. In other words, it's very hard. It's almost as if you were actually typing directly on the table. And these things are really, really nice, especially when you want to customize the look of your desk without putting anything or like painting it over. Just putting a key mat is one of the difference you can make. Oh, and this is relatively recent too. Not relatively recent. It's more of, it's recent in terms of something I've been doing, because I have a lot, and normally I just use it to take photos and stuff, or just change up how it looks once in a while. But other than that, no, it's not that much different. Okay. We're going to be using the Delta Hub Carpio as well. As you can see, it's a nice mismatch of colors. I do have the other one as well. I have a lot of these, honestly. It just looks interesting, which is why I actually bought it. Some people don't like it, and some people decide it's not that great, but I have more. So, as you can see, I can just hide it over there. Unlike normal wrist rests. So yeah, if you want to change the look of a keyboard, even wrist rests change it. But okay, let's actually go and do a typing test for once. Where did typing test go? There we go. All right, go here. Now, this is the Mark 65 with GMK Polybius and Zeal 62 gram 62 gram switches on it, if I'm not mistaken, because I cannot pull them out, but I am gonna assume that I am correct. Unfortunately. Ooh, actually, this one. Maybe. No, I lied. I hate myself. I don't even know where, because I was explaining how my all my switch pullers have seemed to disappeared. It used to be on that board over there, in that section, which just about gets cut off. And the reason for that is because normally, and I say normally because it is normally it would be somewhere on my table. Here specifically. This, oh wait. Yeah, on that section where normally this thing is. And it's missing. And I believe the cat ran away with it. So I'm just going to blame the cat and not care about that. So that's why we're doing this today. Because originally I was just going to see what I can do with the NK65. But we'll do a general typing test and hopefully it's working. The apostrophe key doesn't work on it. But this is a fully functional keyboard. As you can see. Oh, geez. But we're going to see our typing prowess here. Okay. So, Mark 65 with the Zeal no typing angle attached to it. I do have the angled version as well, but here we go. Okay, yeah, so that's really bad. Raw is, well, because we accidentally hit the key earlier, but either or. So it looks like we had a sustain of 96 and up to a burst of around 104 or so, and then made a bunch of mistakes in the middle. All right, so that was the Mark 65. The reason the Mark 65 is actually my main keyboard as of current, even though it's technically not the newest, and I do have the one in the closet that I haven't been able to use because it hasn't been built yet. The Mark 65 has this. This is what you call a split spacebar, and the reason for the split spacebar, it allows me to, without moving from the function row, as you can see, I also have split backspace. This is now the backspace. This is now what I would use as backspace. Because if I'm typing, as you can see, I would hit click, and I wouldn't move my hands from the alphas. In other words, I don't have to go that far versus going here and then resetting. Because just moving from the backspace, regardless of which finger you use, you are going to have to reset and go back to the right-hand side. But here, I can just click that. Because with this, it's an easier reset for me, like this. Here, I'm going so far away from the typing position, which is J and F. So this is the regular home row that a lot of typists use, J and F. For example, for me, I have a hybrid where sometimes I don't reset to F, and I'm okay resetting to WASD because I played a lot of games before I got into typing. So in other words, it's easier for me to swap between F and D as my home row configuration instead of J. J over here, it's a big jump. Over here, where I used to type, it's a smaller jump. So as you would notice, I would actually use my pointer finger as a space button. Okay, now, that is the Mark 65. And not only that, if I want to do a bunch of other functions, for example, I can press the function button here, and in case I miss the spacebar, it also doubles as a spacebar. So if I tap it, it's a spacebar. If I hold it for more than a split second, it turns into the function row. And the cool thing about the function row, it allows me to put either macros, or it allows me to hold this and set these, for example, JKL. And in YouTube, this works as well. You can use it as previous, next, and pause. So previous, next, pause, and you can do volume up, volume down here in I and O. And also the cool thing that you can do is if, for example, if I'm into being able to use things for both productivity and gaming, you can use function to change the locations or remap the locations of buttons. So I can use function, hold it down, this keyboard can turn into I over here. So for I for inspect or M, I can hit E, so I can go press function and M. That way, if I'm in, for example, Apex, I can look at the map whenever I want. Okay. Yeah, and that's one of the things. And not only that, the sound profile of this keyboard is relatively, just because of what keys are in it, is relatively on the mid side, like the mid sections of volume. So it's not a bassy, clean thunk. So as you can hear here, there is some bass to it. All right, let me just take this off. Where it doesn't sound clean, especially since this is unlubed. But for something that's unlubed, this sounds great. So it's on the mid section of actual sound, not the sound profile. So normally you have the bassier ones where it goes like a nice thick thunk. This is on the mid section, and it's not on the higher pitched one where it is very much the clicky section. The clicky section is if you like a higher pitched sound, that is what you want to go for. And a lot of people would actually say this is, of course, this is quiet. And that's why we're going to go to the next keyboard, which is my first mechanical keyboard. This is the first mechanical keyboard I've actually had. This is the Corsair K70. We're going to clean this a little bit, and I'm going to show you one of my best tools for cleaning this, which has disappeared. Oh, there it is. Which has disappeared. Now I have found it. Abacadabra. Here it is. A painter's brush. I'm not even joking. It's a painter's brush. The big, made in Indonesia painter's brush. As you can see, it looks very much used, but I don't use this for paint. This was just a leftover when we painted the room at one point. Looks like I got a text. Give me one sec. Take a look at that. Make sure chat doesn't see it. You don't see my personal life. Oh. Oh, looks like Apex has a new thing going on. Well, we'll check that out later. But this is the best tool for cleaning your keyboard and your desk. I'm not joking. I just do this. And because the bristles are so soft, it will not damage anything. Any coating, any other thing. With With a cloth, the second thing that we use is you can rub a little too hard. You can push down. With this, it will feel like you're gonna break it if you push down too hard. So as you can see, it actually bends. Yeah. As you can see, it will actually bend over there. So it will bend. So as long as you don't touch the metal part, you aren't going too hard. So it will always conform to everything. And the reason why it's really good for, let's say, keyboards especially, is the nooks and crannies. So I can just do this. Boom. And I can go in between, as you can see, in between. And it'll get those side sections when normally if you wipe it down with a cloth, like we saw earlier, it gets the top of the keys much better than the brush. But the brush will reach on the inside. So instead of pushing in so goddamn hard, you can actually like just do this. Go row by row, and then sides as well, row by row if you can. Same with the other way. And then now you have a relatively clean keyboard, and now your desk is a mess. Same thing. Boom. Boom. Same with the cloth. Right? Okay, so we'll move this aside, actually. And we're gonna take this. Another keyboard. That's my wireless one. I don't have any other wireless keyboard. And honestly, I really think a wireless keyboard is one of the better things you can have, especially if you are gaming a lot. Ooh, this is... I don't like this. This is all the way over here. This is the reason why I moved from this type of keyboard into the TKL. But before, I had work and other stuff, so TKL wasn't a thing. This is my first keyboard. This is the Corsair K70 with Cherry MX Browns. As you can hear, this isn't bad until you get into that, okay? So, no, this is not the worst keyboard. This is not the best keyboard. I do have an old EVGA thing here. So, the cool thing that I like about this is it has a bunch of gaming features that it enables. For example, it's this section here. It has multiple BIOS, so you can actually change the specific setting. There are some custom keyboards that have this. There is also the pass-through. In other words, this is a USB 2.0 pass-through. So as you can see here, it comes with 2 actual USB ports. So instead of having to reach all the way into the back of your keyboard or the back of your PC, it's already connected, especially if you've already done it, because you're already down there and you're going to connect the keyboard anyway. You connect to both. Then you can use it to put your wireless mouse dongle right there, allowing you to actually not have no bad signal issues. For example, I've had an issue where putting it behind my monitor, just putting it behind my monitor, has issues with the mouse signal. This mouse signal, the older ones, 100%, it would be blocked by a monitor, especially if it's behind. If you have a metal table or a lot of metal items underneath your table, it will block the signal of the mouse dongle. So to alleviate that issue, you have this feature, which is the USB pass-through on older gaming keyboards. Newer gaming keyboards, some of them have it, but it's mostly the bigger brands that have it, just so that you can. And nowadays, you just have a dongle. So for example, they give you a really long USB cable. Oh my god. Did I just tangle myself? I did. All right. Boom. Let's move this one part out of the way. So you have this long, nice, braided piece of cable. This is the newest feature on mice. And I wish keyboards would have the same item or the same thing. Right now, keyboards have the aesthetic purpose, as you can see. This serves no real purpose other than being aesthetic. This looks nice, and it does do a couple things well as on top. So not only is it a lot more aesthetic, it stops you from putting things in that section, and it also doubles, I guess I can show you here, as a phone holder. We can just keep it there. Yeah. It's a horrible way to do it. I don't recommend it, of course. I don't know what else other people do. I used to have an actual phone stand, and that works fine. But nowadays, because I have a lot of other things that I worry about, and honestly, having that phone over there in that corner doesn't make a lot of sense anymore. But that's what I used to do, and now I don't need it. So I've decided to have a cleaner board in general, instead of having something like that, right? So as you can see, most of this is relatively clean. Why is this slanted? Swear to God. Oh well. Anyways, oh, it's not slanted. It's just this keyboard is a little viewer unfriendly. Okay, let's unwrap this a little bit. Oh geez. This is my first keyboard. First mechanical keyboard that I had, and I didn't hate it until this. I was like, how do people do that? I don't understand. Cherry MX Browns as usual. There is zero lube in this thing. You can hear it rattle. I think I have some of my parts here. So hopefully the cat doesn't care for this specific part, which is why I still have it. But oh, got this. Have that. As you can hear. You can hear this. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. All it needs is lube. All they need is lube. All it needs is lube. I might do that later, but I think what I'm gonna do is I might make a video on my first mechanical keyboard, and I'm gonna clickbait the hell out of it and say, this is the keyboard that got me into custom keyboards, or something like that, you know? And you see a Corsair K70, oh, that's a horrible keyboard. Well, how dare you? And then you realize, oh, okay, this is why. This is why, because you have to fix it. It's a fixer-upper, honestly. It's a fixer-upper. All right, let's take these away, these extra peripherals. Gonna unfurl this a little bit. We don't need to unfurl it too much. We just need enough to get some slack and connect it. Where did that thing go? There we go. Put it in the side table. All right, so I'm gonna go there. We're gonna make sure this is arranged properly. God damn it. There we go. And we're gonna move this away a little bit. All right, so what we're gonna do is, because it's relatively easy to do, I can either use this cable. We'll probably use this cable in the future, but we're gonna use the same keyboard cable we have. That's USB-C, so we're gonna use an adapter, USB-C, put that over there, go over here, and this is the keyboard. So, as you can see, they do a good job, because I've seen, I think the Apex or the SteelSeries keyboards, they have the same feature. However, they don't indicate which one's which. There we go. So as you can see, there's a section that says keyboard or shows that it is a keyboard, and the other one just says left, right. In other words, just pass it through. So that's for the pass through on the board. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab this, we're gonna put that here, and we're gonna attach it to the keyboard section. Boom. I said boom. I said work. Why aren't you attaching? Oh. You know, the classical issue of having to deal with that. Alright. Should I move this a little to the right? I'll move this a little to the right, because I do feel like it is over encroaching at this moment. Okay. Oh my god. Alright. Move the glass mouse pad. And hopefully we don't get it anywhere. Okay. This is scary. Okay. I need a cup holder, I realize. No, don't you dare. Oh. Don't spill. This is the reason I don't like coffee over there. Okay. Stay, don't drop. Okay. Oh, looks crooked. You ever do stream stuff and you're like, oh, that's crooked as all hell, and then you realize it's not crooked, it's just that the camera has an illusion that it has to maintain. Okay, so this is going to be the Corsair K70. This is my first mechanical keyboard. It is awesome. Oh, someone's talking World Cup. Okay, I don't really need that. Don't I have them muted? Jeez. Okay. But anyways, yeah, this is the Corsair K70. This is the old version. There is, I believe, a new version, the 2021 version, which is a newer, better version of this. For example, this right-hand side, there is stuff like allows me to play and pause music, I believe, or not. Am I dumb? I am dumb. It doesn't work. IQ maybe? Yeah, I need stuff installed. Let us see by doing this. Trying. Oh, caps lock. Alright, we're gonna do a typing test. Oh my god, that is so bad. Hey, Cray, how are you? How's things? I'm doing a bunch of keyboard tests. Okay. Ooh. Hey! Alright, back to that. But yes, this is my first keyboard where, effectively, this section here, I'm making a lot of mistakes with this board, and because I came from the Mark 65, what's gonna happen for the rest of the day is I'm gonna hit the spacebar repeatedly in an attempt to correct myself. The Morpheus. Okay, so you're saying you want to say ew to the hot pink arrow keys, but the more I look at it, the more fuchsia it gets. Yes, these are not hot pink. Despite what the camera is showing you, these are actually a dark purple in real life. As you can see, the camera is trying to overexpose because everything is really bright. However, the keyboard itself is really dark. And that is the downside of phone cameras, right? As you can see, like phone cameras. I go over here, I make it a lot brighter, and then all of a sudden that turns hot pink, and that becomes darker and or lighter depending on what I put on screen. There you go. So yes, that is the difference. Okay, again, this is relatively a horrible, horrible keyboard. However, they aren't bad in terms of the alphas. The alphas sound just fine. They don't sound offensive. They don't sound particularly special. They don't sound particularly hollow. Okay, they sound a little hollow. However, as you can see here, there, it is unlubed. They do not sound clean whatsoever. It doesn't sound clean. Yes, that's the manual contrasting. Yes, it's a manual contrast for this keyboard. This is how you adjust the manual contrast. You change the color of your background, which is what I've done. It's now trying to overexpose, unfortunately. I think I'm gonna go with a lighter matte next time, so for the next stream, but right now I'll just leave it as is. But as you can hear, the Corsair K70 is an actually really, really good keyboard in terms of just being a keyboard. It doesn't sound special, and I'm using the Cooler Master keycaps, because as you can see, there is a difference here. So, you see the F keys? They are big and bold, and this is something that, for most people, they don't want that. Here, on the other hand, these are the Cooler Masters keycaps, which I put on here just so that I can be used. They sound like a stock keyboard that I can buy from a cheap place. Yes, they do, don't they, right? This is... And can you hear the purple keys? Okay. But yes, this is an old gaming keyboard that I have not modified whatsoever. This is my first keyboard in the mechanical keyboard hobby. And here are the purple keys, arrow keys. So yeah, those are the keys, and you can hear it's not very clean. However, if I took the keys off of this board, looped them, they would sound much better. As in the case when we did the NK65, and a couple of streams ago, we actually did the Cherry MX Browns. The Cherry MX Browns, we tested it, and it sounded like a regular cheap keyboard. And then you lube it, and then all of a sudden, it sounds amazing. It sounds nice, clean, crisp. It's still in the more mid, less of the bassier or the sharper sounds of an actual keyboard, and I personally prefer the bassier sections or the poppier sections, one or the other, just less hollow. Yeah, so it's just a little less hollow, and part of it is just because it's in the bottom of the board, and as you can see, the reason why they sound less hollow, that section, oh my god, this is such a tall keyboard. The keyboard, oh, I guess this is the best way to show it, is slanted, as you can see. There is a section, so it'll sound less hollow because there is less hollowness. The top side of the board is much more hollow than the bottom side of the board. And the thing about the reason why this doesn't sound too bad, because unlike most gaming keyboards, it is much slimmer than most gaming keyboards. Most gaming keyboards are about this thick, like much thicker. And the reason for that is because it looks better, mostly. But that's why they're less hollow, as you can hear. One of the ways you can actually change the sound of this board, right, is literally by the keycaps. And I might pull off the old keycaps from it. So the old keycaps are actually on the ROG board, which we'll test in a bit. So after this, when I realized this board, the K70 had really good features, but can I still do it? Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Okay. So is this. So this is my first keyboard. That's what I was saying. Yeah, this is relatively expensive for what it was. Back in the day, I think this went for Canadian about $250, but now I think it's only $170. So it's almost $100. So yeah, no, it being excessively thick is what leads to a lot of the hollowness, especially if they don't put anything in there. The new ones, like the NK65 that I have, actually have silicone inserts that make it a thicker sounding board. Okay, so now that we've gone with the Corsair K70, I realize this isn't the best just because of these sections. This isn't as offensive. And here's the thing. Back in the day, if you were actually to get a custom keyboard, right, you would have your regular bottom row. The Corsair did not have a regular bottom row. It had a large control key, as you can see here. A large control key, and regular keys are like this. They are equidistant to each other. So this is 1.25, if I'm not mistaken. They are 1.25. However, the control key is a 1.5 on the Corsair. I guess I can show it by doing this. There you go. Overlaying. Overlaying. There you go. So, as you can see, this is smaller than this one over here. Right? Therefore, this is a hard way to find keycap sets, at least for the cheaper ones. The newer custom keycap sets, or even the old ones, actually had multiple bottom row layouts. So they had one use, especially since you can change it. For example, again, Mark 65, this is why I really like it. You can either have two 1.25s, or you can have three 1U, right? So 1, 2, 3, as you can see over here, it is a different alt key. This is 1.25. Then they went with 1 and 1, and then a larger control yet again. And that is for symmetry. Honestly, I would have rather have all 1U in the bottom, especially for a keyboard like this, because it allows you to add a lot more macros or something else like a function row and whatnot. But this is the right-click button for some reason. I'm not joking. This button is a right-click button on a keyboard. So this is the command key, I believe it's called. I don't really, or super. Alt, Windows, and Control. So there was an extra key here. So function would have been better. I would have had one more for something else. I wouldn't know until I actually use something like that, but that's the thing. I think that would have been better. This is great for a gaming keyboard. If I was to make a custom mechanical keyboard, I'd have this. This is cool. I do like the bigger control. It makes it nicer and easier to do. Alt is used in some games, but it's not used a lot. So it being smaller isn't a huge deal, especially still, so you kind of have to hit it like this anyways. So it's fine. And then, what other gaming features it had? Well, it had a bunch of macro capabilities, remapping abilities. Unfortunately, macros are considered cheating. And I get it. The only reason I would say macros aren't cheating is when you apply it yourself. For example, if you were an attorney, okay, cool. I'm just gonna do the macro there. And say, hey, by the way, I'm going to be making a macro. Macro is going to be this. And it's like someone oversees you making the macro and just doing it. Like, all right, cool. We'll just consider that the macro and just consider it a tool. Because they made the input themselves and they're practicing doing it themselves. But instead of doing that, they would just use it. However, of course, it becomes one of those things where, oh yeah, you use the macro by itself, or you pulled off the macro yourself. Why wouldn't you just keep doing that? Well, it increases consistency, and that's why it's considered cheating. You can't consistently pull off macros where you do a bunch of complicated commands with a press of a button, normally. But with macros and stuff, you are able to do that. So that's what you're skipping out on, and that's what people don't like, and that's why it's considered cheating. However, of course, manufacturers still include it. But one of the cool things about macros is the productivity side of things. Normally, for example, you would have in, what's it called? In editing, there is a trim delete, like a trim. Ripple trim. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called a ripple trim. For ripple trim, this is the stupid thing that you have to do. Control, Shift, and one of these brackets, right? So doing Control, Shift, and bracket, that will trim it either left or right. But if you have that as a macro and you just hit a button on your keyboard, that's fine because one, you're more efficient, and two, you're more consistent. So you don't have to go, I'm editing. All right, I want to trim this section, and then go to the keyboard and go Control Shift, Control Shift there, or Control Shift in the other bracket. Instead, you just pop, hit the button, all right, and continue on. It's just much faster, much more reliable, and that's how you would do it instead of having to go back and forth between the mouse. The second other thing is gaming mouse have the same or a similar thing where, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons. This doesn't count. Not only that, there's left and right tilt on this specific mouse. A gaming mouse, on the other hand, which is specialized for gaming, has no extra features and is highly trimmed down. It's kind of like a race car versus an SUV. If you want the SUV, you go for these. This is an SUV. And the MMO mice, do I have one out, I believe? Whoop. Do I have one out? I don't believe I have the MMO mouse out. I don't really like it. Yeah, so I did have an MMO mouse. It is probably in the closet somewhere, unfortunately. But yes, MMO mouse is a truck, this is an SUV, and this is a racing car. That's the difference between these types of mice. Keyboard-wise, again, this is a truck. As you can see, there's a numpad. It allows me to do this. Oh, wait. I disconnected it. But if I hit the numpad, I can change scenes like this. And over here. Not only that, I can actually play pause, adjust volume, I can mute. And those are the things you can do with these types of keyboards because there's a lot of space for you to do everything. Unlike the Mark 65, I can actually do all of that in a smaller form factor. See, as you can see here, it is literally a 75%. Or almost a TKL. It's shorter than a TKL. Gives you about one more row extra of mousing space, as you can see here. And not only that, it makes this so the keyboard is centered. So when I'm typing, the keyboard is more centered. If this was my regular space, as you can see, if I'm in a relaxed position, this is how my hands would rest, right? Now I have to strain. I feel like I'm doing this just to reach my mousing space, right? And that's what I found out. So now I have mousing space, but now I'm sideways, so I'm just shifted a little to the left, right? Like this, instead of normally. So I'd have to change the position. With something smaller, my main, I don't have to do that. I just use the function row, and then I have all of these functions easily available. Alright, so after this, I realized this sucked. I liked how it felt. However, I didn't like the sound, which is what led me to the next keyboard. This guy. And I think I broke this one. We'll find out, unfortunately. This is the Corsair MM750? Let me see this. MK750, sorry. This is the Corsair Cooler Master MK750, which is my second keyboard that I got. So I still haven't gotten into the mechanical keyboard hobby that much yet. However, I wanted to, of course, get a better experience than what it was previously. So I got this. Sounds much better, doesn't it? And compare that again. So let's push this up. Compared to my first keyboard, this is both gaming keyboard brands. This is Cooler Master and this is Corsair. We haven't even touched custom yet, right? Ta-da! So yes, it sounds nicer and cleaner, and that's just a single keyboard. But this is what destroys it, right? It's not as bad. It's still not great, but it's better. Much better. So when you're comparing from my old keyboard with the first one, which is why I even got into mechanical keyboards, is because of that really noisy, I didn't really quite like it to this, which is still a gaming keyboard, but much better, it's still not as good as the actual custom keyboards, but it's much better. These are the same Cherry MX Browns, as you can see. Oh, I guess we can't. But this is Cherry MX Browns, as you can see. This is Cherry MX Browns. I can take that off. Browns. They're the same key switches. This sounds better as another gaming keyboard. Okay. Now that is out of the way. Let's try the second quote-unquote upgrade. So this is what I now used at the office at the time. So I brought this one to the office. Oh, sorry. Yeah, because this was much noisier. As you can hear, you were typing, you were doing a bunch of things and whatnot. And this had a bunch of other gaming features that I wanted to keep anyways. And this, the MK65, actually trades a couple features for another set of features. So you're going to have to use this one because I know that the MK750 has this issue. So look, now we get into what is more custom keyboard features. As you can see, now we have a detachable cable. This is USB-C for something that came out in 2006 instead of 2007. So as you can see, it's USB-C, right? Back in the day, it was micro USB. This is USB-C at 2017 or 2016. I can't remember which year, but it was way back in the day. And as you can see here, adjustable feet. However, unlike the Corsair, another trade-off that they did was, oh wait, no, I thought the Corsair had that. Oh yeah, they did. Unlike the Corsair, if you wanted a taller keyboard, they had this weird thing where, as you can see, you had the bottom section. The bottom section also had a lift if you wanted it. I don't like it. I never used it personally, but having a taller keyboard for some people, because they lift their wrists, and they felt it weird that it's so low to the ground. So there is that. All right, so now let's do a sound test on the MK750. But before that, of course, we're gonna discuss some of the changes here. All right, now we have cable management. That is the trade-off. Cable management, a new feature compared to that one where it's built in, is now you connect it via USB-C, and you can route it to the left or right, which is great for office work. The second part is you lose the scroll wheel, which is why it made it have a thin top bezel. There's no top bezel compared to the Corsair K70. As you can see, that's such a thick top bezel, and it just says Corsair on it. This has nothing and no indication of what the manufacturer is. The only time the manufacturer popped up was actually in this section here. I'm using different keycaps as it originally came with, but effectively here would be the Cooler Master logo instead. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach this, and hopefully it works because I remember it working. But I remember something was screwy with it after I last touched it. Okay, I did mute myself. Alright, so this is, again, the MK750, which is actually one of the boards that I thought was an upgrade compared to my original Corsair K70, which is my first gaming keyboard. Now, I upgraded to this and had a much better font instead of the gaming font at the time. And here, this is what it sounds like. Let's go with next test. All right, so again, these are the Cherry MX Browns, just like the Corsair K70. The difference is, of course, this sounds much better. All right. There you go. So as you can hear, this sounds much better. A lot more solid, a lot more full, and on the lower end of the register instead of the Corsair K70. It doesn't sound quite as hollow, and that's one of the nicer things about this specific keyboard. And this is not lubed either. As far as I remember, because I remember desoldering a bunch of these, and yeah, they were not lubed whatsoever. And the reason I swapped from this is actually because I wanted more space. Instead, oh, actually, I kept this at the office, and I changed nothing about it. And I wanted to, well, at the time, I didn't change anything, and we'll talk about it later. But the next keyboard I got, again, unfortunately, was another gaming keyboard, right? So, again, this is MK750, had a bunch of other features. Again, now this time, it comes with a function key, so there is multiple layers, unlike the Corsair K70, which did not come with multiple layers. You could change it to function, I believe, but I don't actually know whether that is the case or not. Okay. So now, let's move over to the next keyboard that I got to replace my home keyboard, the Corsair K70. Come on. Oh my god. Do I have to do this? I hate this. Oh, Jesus. Alright. Okay. Never pull a cable or disconnect a cable without holding onto that little bit here. Normally, some people do just pull. You're not supposed to pull via the cable. Please don't. I had no choice there. Alright, so this is the quote-unquote upgrade. Down. Boom. This is the upgrade. I'm missing... Well, I can simulate it. This is the upgraded. As you can hear, I've modified this one with different keys. This is actually running Cherry MX Browns, as you can see. Oh, I think I made a boo-boo there. There. So, this is running Cherry MX Browns. I actually put some foam into it as well, and I even put silent keycaps into it. So, as you can hear, it's not that bad. It actually sounds silent. And the reason for this is sometimes I would game throughout the night, and of course, my roommates were not exactly pleased to have that, or this, as a sound they would hear, versus something much quieter in comparison. Okay, so we're gonna actually do a keyboard test. Okay, here is the crux. Again, this is micro USB. This is not USB-C. This is micro USB. As you can see, it's micro USB. And again, we now have cable management strips. So it would go from here if you wanted to go out of left or right. This is a nice feature about these newer boards. The extra feature that comes with is these pins. As you can see, these pins allow me to put a numpad like this. However, of course, this is not the same numpad. It's more like this. This is not the same numpad. I don't know where the actual numpad went. It is hidden somewhere in the closet, deep down under, and I'm not spending an hour to try to find that. So you're gonna have to use your imagination and use the numpad that would go over here, take it out, and put it either on the right hand side, where it normally is, or the left hand side, creating a southpaw, or left-handed, keyboard. Oh my god. Hang on. There we go. So something like that. Right? And it's much nicer. And what it allows me to do, right, is it allows me to take that, or take that keyboard, right, and shove it more to the right. As you can see, now the keyboard is a lot more aligned to how the resting position would be. So I could move it a little more here. As you can see, gives me even more mousing space than previous keyboards with the numpad all in the way. And it sounds quiet. This is what I was going to bring into the office in the future. But I used it as a gaming keyboard. But here it is. Let's go into a sound test. I believe, yes, I do still have it. Here we are. This is my cable for my controllers, just in case. And I get to do this. Ta-da! I've turned off all the RGB for all of these keyboards. These work. Tell me it works. I know you're connected, you son of a gun! Work! I know you work. I know you work. I tested you out. God damn it. Troubleshooting! I used to do this for a living! Come on. There you are. Okay. Where are you? You're fine. You're connected. Oh no, did this break? Did this break before I knew? Oh, I just didn't fully connect it. I'm a fool. Alright. As you can see, RGB galore. And yeah. This is the third keyboard that I bought just for the mousing space. As you can see, it's a TKL that has a numpad variation. It also had a scroll wheel, which is actually useful in terms of being able to control the volume of your computer. But other than that, it doesn't really matter. The weird part is a lot of people say, oh yeah, you have to have a scroll wheel. It's such a really neat feature. It's great. Even a knob. No, it wasn't a great feature. It was a mostly useless feature because the moment you set your volume for your computer, most people don't touch it unless an extremely loud noise happens. That's it. It's more useless than you think. The only reason I even keep something like this is for that, as you can hear, I can change the volume of the stream. Okay. Now, so that's a streamer feature, gamer feature, or whatnot, but it's not a feature that most people would use. But here is what it sounds like after I've modded it. So unfortunately, I can't just go back and undo this within the span of this stream. But now that I have more mousing space, I can move the numpad from right to left whenever I want. Here is what this one sounds like. Oh, I've changed my typing since then. Okay. Oh, and here's the side profile. As you can see, the side profile is similar. It's much thicker than the Corsair, as you can see. It's quite more aggressive in comparison for its taper, but it looks quite nice, especially with this nice tribalistic look. They actually went ahead and changed how it looked in comparison to most gaming keyboards. They just kind of did whatever they wanted. This at least looked like it had some character to it. All right. Okay. Ooh. Looks like the keyboard isn't doing this. What? Okay, here's the weird part about this keyboard. But as you can hear, it didn't sound the worst. It didn't sound the best. And one of the things I wanted to do was use it at the office. So, what I did was I used silent switches on them. And to make it even worse, I put these in rubber sections. What are they? O-rings. I put O-rings into the stems. That way, I can have a difference in sound. Do I still have them? Even on these, I have O-rings on. Okay. And I think these are incorrect in their orientation because that felt like a horrible, horrible, horrible way to keep going. Let me just up. Again, we are going to go there. Oh, right. This. As you can see, I haven't used this in a while. It is gathering dust, but as you can see, the stabilizers are different. Much different. Right? Compared to the stabilizer you normally find, which has the Cherry MX stem in it. These have sections that actually go into your keycap, and then push them in. Kind of, I guess I can try to show it. You try to push them in, and hopefully they will work just fine. So I'm going to put it on the left-hand side first. and then push it into the right hand. Come on. Got this. Yep, there we go. Now that they are somewhat aligned. Yeah. And why can't I move to the right? Why am I not able to the right? That is weird. There you go. And then press this down. There we go. And I screwed up. No, that was the right way to do it. That was the right way. What? Why does this feel so stiff? I don't remember this feeling so stiff. Comparison. But here's the reason why. As you can see, this little bit, there you go. This little bit is offset. The stem on the left-hand side is on the left-hand side, and the section sticks out to the right. So, looks like this has to be a different way. Put that back to its original orientation, which I thought was incorrect, but looks like it's correct, unfortunately. Okay. Put that back and find out whether that is the case. This isn't as easy as I thought it would be with this one section. Okay. Come on. Go in. Alright. That went in easy. I said relatively easy. I didn't say it was easy. And there. What is going on? Why do you not want to go down? There you are. What is going... What? Didn't go? Where aren't you going? Oh my god. I think I see why they moved away from this. Come on. Come on. You got this. Come on. Alright. Oh my god. This is such an annoying piece of Krasnox. I can see why they moved away. I can see why they moved away from this design. What's going on? What is going on? I don't understand. Help me. Yep, that is the correct one. Alright. Oh, I see why. Oh, jeez. It's because the clip is no longer attached. The right, move this in. No one can see it because my big head's in the way, you know, big brain and all that. Okay. It's not working because I have the clip disengaged. There we go. Now the clip is re-engaged. I can move it a little bit. Put this back in. Come on. Oh my god. Alright. Wow, this is annoying. This is terribly, terribly annoying. Okay, see, as you can see now, I'm having trouble aligning those two. Uh-oh. Looks like we had issues with the connection. There we go. Looks like it went in. We're having the same issue we had previously. Let's use this. This is the handy dandy item we can use to push things certain ways that where we want them. We can take this. We can now then try and attempt to push it in the correct way. Take this one out. Actually, did we get it? Nope. Nope. You finicky little piece of Kraz. You got this. Get in there. Get in there. There you go. I don't understand how this works. I really don't. Am I incorrect in my assumption? We might just skip this keyboard entirely because this sucks. This is horrible and I hate him. Is this... Yeah, no, this is fine. This is great. Was this supposed to be this orientation? Oh my god. Maybe the other way around? Okay. One more attempt. We're gonna do one more attempt before we move on to the next keyboard that is not as annoying to deal with. So yes, we're gonna go with that instead. Holy Jesus. Okay, again. This goes left. No, you don't. Okay. This goes right. This time, we're gonna hope we don't pop off one piece. There we go. They are both connected. They're both working properly in general speaking. Alright, we can now push this down. Alright. There we go. Now it works. We're gonna put that back. And we're gonna put this back. And we're gonna take the shift key and do the same thing. You know what? That's fine. We'll leave it broken. Alright. But the spacebar needs to not be broken. Alright. What just happened? Okay. Alright. What happened there? Looks like we lost connection for a little bit. But we should be fine. I'm hoping. Hoping we're fine. Alright. So yeah, that was the... I forget. This is the ROG Claymore. There is a Claymore 2, and I think the Claymore 2 is a much better keyboard in comparison. However, of course, in the custom keyboard scene, the Claymore 2 wasn't actually quite as touted as good in the custom keyboard scene. But that's only if you're into custom keyboards. If you don't really mind custom keyboards, you like custom keyboards, but they're not the best, the Claymore 2 can be a nice build for you. And if RG stayed true with what they can do, a lot of the screws are exposed and it isn't the hardest to take apart and modify if you really needed to, just like I did here with these silent keys. And the reason I went with the silent keys is, of course, at work, is silent keyboards are much better, and it feels like a lie to come from tactile keyboards, which they say is, oh my god, it's quiet. It's not. That's quiet. That's quiet. So that makes it a useful and less intrusive keyboard typing experience compared to, let's say, a rubber dome keycap. All right, we'll take this out. And what was the next one I went with? The next one I went with was, of course, this guy, the Ducky keyboard. Let's take that out. Boom. Where's the Ducky? Here. I wanted to try. Guess what? This is the Ducky 1-2 Mini. As you can see here, upside down. Ducky 1-2 Mini with SA keycaps. This is my first foray into custom keycaps, where it is an SA set. I also got the SA Horizon, also from Ducky. And instead, I forget this very specific SA set. SA sets might be going away, apparently. I don't know. I'm just running off clickbait headlines. But the company that normally makes them or manufactures them actually has stopped for some reason. I don't know. But I don't look into the use that much or that deep. But here is, again, a custom keyboard. This used to be running the speed switches. And now, an actual silent keyboard. As you can hear there, a silent keyboard. And this is what I would use in an office environment. The cool thing about this, the function row is over here. Function can move. This section tends to be able to move the mouse. Left click, right click. So if you're looking for a keyboard that you can bring anywhere and still be able to use mouse functionality, this is one of the nice mechanical keyboards. Of course, there's also the Logitech one, which allows for a trackpad. So it's a bit larger than this, but it is low profile and has a really good one. Oh, I think I might recommend that to someone, where if they're looking for a cheap keyboard that works and doubles as a mouse, that's perfect because it has a small trackpad, left and right click. This, on the other hand, uses function row, function, JKL, I, and then U and O are the left and right click. So left click for U, O is right click, and then you can use function and then move using JKL. It is annoying because function is over here, so looking underneath, this is how I'm trying to press the button and then move. It's not worth it, honestly. Okay, so we're gonna test out how this one sounds. This, of course, again, is modified. So now this has Milmax hot swap switches. Milmax hot swap sockets with, I forget. I think this is the Xylent 62 gram. Okay, with SA keycaps. So this is what it sounds like. All right, watch replay here. Okay, so that was a nice silent keyboard. Again, this is the 60%. The cool thing about 60%, as you can see, it's terribly, terribly small. However, hitting that function row allows you for the F rows, for arrow keys, and a lot of people think, oh my god, arrow keys? Where are the arrow keys? Again, function WASD works just as fine. And for some people, that's horrible because you have to keep track of two different button combinations of just pressing a button. And that's why I actually went to the next keyboard that I'm going to show you. But let's talk about this Paper Towns, because this one seems like a nice actual, what's it called? A nice actual quote. That's always seems so ridiculous to me that people want to be around someone because they're pretty. It's like picking your breakfast cereals based on color instead of taste. Yes, that is the case. And a lot of people don't realize that you first eat with your eyes regardless. So in order to gain your appetite, you still have to make your dish look good. The more colors there are in it, the more flavorful it looks like it is, even though it's not necessarily actually flavorful. Right? So there's the difference. Okay. An hour cold coffee. Damn. Yeah. Like, honestly, not the worst thing, but I went for a floral coffee today. Not the best decision for this type of stream. But anyways. Yeah, no, that you actually eat with your eyes, which is why, for example, looks came into play. And going into the next keyboard, like I said, this was one of the better keyboards that I used at home because one, it's a smaller footprint, allows me to have better mousing movement, allowed me to reduce my sensitivity in-game, even though I am used to moving my mouse with the 3900 or 4000 DPI. Okay, so we'll change that. And we're gonna move into, guess what? The new keyboard! Woohoo! At the time. Boom. This looks like an actual custom keyboard. Look at that. Ooh, nice cohesive design. Look at that side profile. It's soft. It's nice, aggressive angle. It's soft though. The back is where it's the least interesting, but it does have 4 stands for rubber bits. BIOS switch over here. And as you can see if I can. Mecha SF. This is from Ducky, right? The Ducky Mecha SF. This sounds like a generic keyboard, but a lot more thicker. As you can hear there. Ooh, let's do this. That sounds much better. This is a gaming keyboard, guys. This is still within the gaming keyboard scene. This is not even custom keyboard. It looks like a custom. This is why I went for this. This is why I went for it. Look at how nice that is. I wish they still made stuff like this. Why this isn't being sold a lot? Oh my god. I guess it's a limited edition of it, but I want to turn this into a hot swap keyboard. It's gonna take a bunch of money is the problem. It's gonna take a lot of money for this is the problem. So you're effectively buying another keyboard's worth of materials just to make this a better custom keyboard. These are running the Cherry MX Silver switches, which are speed switches. I don't like linears as much. I figured this out on this keyboard. But still is one of the better keyboards. So this is gonna be how it sounds. So this is, again, Cherry MX Silver switches on the Ducky Mecha SF Emerald Edition. This is one of the boards that looks like a custom keyboard, as you can see here. However, is a regular gaming keyboard and is made out of actual metal. I believe it is aluminum. And weird part, the color is not anodization. This is actually paint over it. Okay, next test. Oh. What the heck is this? This is what I hate. Ugh. I hit that Windows key. Jeez. Alright. So that's the problem with speed switches, and depending on it, you forget, you kind of have to raise your hand and type properly, as they say, where you don't rest your wrist. Because the moment you have a wrist rest that is relatively low, what happens is, let me bring this up. What happens is it would rest, and just to showcase here, I'm going to put it on the edge of the board. It does this. This is what you do. With the speed switch, this is all you need to depress it. All you need to press it down. But this is a really nice contrast of colors. Green with orange. I personally wish it was a darker green with a red. And that is a good color scheme. This is the closest I've gotten to my favorite color for a keyboard. Or my favorite colors in general. A really dark green. This is lighter, just because of the camera. Same with the other side. This is, as you can see, I'm looking at the display here. It looks relatively light, especially the orange. A lot of this is darker, but I still want it to be even darker. Okay. But yeah, that's how it sounds. It sounds nice. It sounds solid. It sounds clean. Even the mods. And I changed nothing. I didn't add any loop, nothing. This sounds great. So. There is a minimal amount of rattle, and these are just nice, really good stabilizers. And the only other thing I can do probably is add some lube into it, and it will sound great. But it sounds decent or more than good already, so I didn't really want to change too much about it. The cool thing about this is, unlike, where was that other keyboard? Where did I put it? I literally had it 10 seconds ago. Guys, where did I put the 60%? Oh, there it is. I was looking for it for the longest time. Boom. Look, you aren't missing out that much space. So you are getting basically 1U by going to a 65%, and I prefer this because turns out I didn't get the Ducky SF, the 65%, which has the arrow keys. I didn't actually get it for the arrow keys. I got it for the delete key, because when I'm editing, the delete key is a bigger use, because I can just delete. It's a ripple delete. That's what it is. Backspace is regular backspace. It just still leaves a big gap in your editing program. Hitting delete takes that gap and just smushes it together, which is why I got this keyboard. Just the delete. So 65% I still like. You still have all the features as you would have with the 60%, which is the alphas, which a lot of people, this is all anyone needs. People who use a numpad should just get a Stream Deck instead if you're streaming. The only reason you'd actually get a numpad is actually for calculation work or part number enter. And I used to work at a warehouse, and yes, the numpad was very, very useful because I've seen people with I've seen parts with so many numbers, it's almost as if you're putting a serial number in. And I used to have to put serial numbers. Because if you didn't know, in aircraft maintenance, or aircraft industry, not aircraft maintenance, well, technically still aircraft maintenance, you actually have to record all of the serial numbers or you put on the plane, what you receive in the warehouse, and basically everything is serialized, including the screws. You get the batch number of the screws. It's not that it's serial. There's a serial number that relates to the batch number of the screw. So effectively, you are going through so many parts and typing out these random serial numbers, so a numpad is actually useful. 90% of the people don't need a numpad. 90% of the people don't actually need the arrow keys. I did not get a 65% for the arrow keys because all I do was function and this. That's it. Function and that. And then I can use that as arrow keys. I got this for the delete key. Not even that. And most people don't use the delete key. I use the delete key for editing. If you're an editor, yes, 65 all the way. Especially when you're doing those little micro things where you're like, okay, maybe one frame. One? No, one more frame. One more. That's what you're doing. That's it. Most people don't need this section. That's why this exists. Saves a bunch of space, makes your desk cleaner, and if you want to move things around, you're not lugging a big piece of metal like this. Look at it, it's taking up the entire screen. You don't need this. No one needs this. As much as people hate the change, oh my god, why would you pay more for less keys? You're paying for the space. You're paying for this. This is what you're paying for. This section here, allowing you to move your mouse properly. Honestly, if you want or need the whole numpad, grab a southpaw or grab something like the claymore, which you can remove the numpad when you need it. Or when you don't need it, sorry. So yeah, or get this. Something like a numpad that you can put anywhere you want, so you can put that away. You don't need it right now. You can use that later. So you put that away. When you game, just play games. So yes, now that is the Mecha SF Mini, which actually sounds much better than most gaming keyboards. So as you can hear, we can go back and forth, right? So this is the first gaming keyboard I have, right? And this is not even a custom keyboard. This is a gaming keyboard from Ducky, or I think this is the better way to say it. See, Ducky Mecha SF. This is made out of metal. Sounds really good. Oh. Versus what we now have. That way. This is what a general gaming keyboard sounded back in the day. I'm hearing that a lot of the new gaming keyboards are sounding much better, but this is what we had back in the day. It sounded hollow. It didn't sound clean. Spacebar, everything rattled. This is what I started. This is why I got into all of this. All right. Okay, let's put this back. There. And then this is what I decided to get because I wanted to go back into 75% because I wanted the F-Row back. This is the glorious GMMK Pro. This received a lot of hatred from the custom keyboard community, and for both good reasons and bad reasons. However, this is a gaming keyboard more than it is a custom. It is based off of custom keyboards. However, the main priority at the time was gaming. So this has been gotten ridiculed because it was excessively stiff. Now there is a quote-unquote mod that allows it to be less stiff. As a gaming keyboard, I think it's fine to be stiff because what you're looking for in a gaming keyboard is for it to be responsive. In other words, by the time you let go, you want to be able to press it down again, right? And that's what they were looking for. And with this keyboard, they didn't do that because at the time, I think the trend was purely the bounciness of the newer, what's it called? The ones with the cutout. Is it called cutouts? God damn it. When I'm off stream, I'm gonna remember exactly what I'm talking about. That's how it works. Okay, but this is the next one that I went for because I liked the Mecha SF so much. This one. Wait, let's just bring these. Let's not just keep swapping keyboards. But as you can see, compared to what we had earlier, it's cleaner, a solid, nice sound signature, versus this, relatively quiet. There's some ping, I like this because it's quiet, allows me to bring it to work. So if I was going to work, this is fine. It has a knob. The knob, a feature that everyone's like, oh wow, it has a knob, it's great. It's not useful. It is not useful. It's not that useful. Trust me when I say it's not that useful. Because this is what's gonna happen. What do you do when you get a new keyboard? You start playing with it for a little bit. You can adjust the volume a little bit, a little less, a little more. But once you adjust the volume once, what do you think you tend to do to the volume? You don't touch it until something loud happens. So what is this for? There's no real use to this. This is the panic button of I was watching something and someone started to walk in, so I go zzz. I wasn't watching anything. That's it. This is maybe useful if you're lazy enough to not take off your headphones and go, all right, let me just, yeah, what were you saying? That's it. That's all this is used for. You can press it down as a button to mute yourself. So if you wanted to mute your mic and you have it hotkeyed, you can use that to mute. You press that down as a button, right? And then change the volume. But that's it. That's it. It's not that useful. Like, I'd rather have another button here. But I guess it's more useful to have it as a button and a knob. But I haven't found any use for just being a knob. You know, if I can find a use for having a knob, then I'd use it. Unfortunately, no. Okay, so let's actually give this a shot here. Let's move this to the side as a reminder of what we used to have. And we are going to connect this in. But yeah, it is much more useless than you think. All right, so this is the GMK Pro. And again, this is what was considered excessively stiff by most, if not all, of the custom keyboard community. And a lot of people absolutely hated it for that specific reason. But, caveat, but. For gaming, that is fine, because in gaming, a stiffer keyboard means it feels more responsive. And if you put it on, for example, something like a game mat or a play mat, it doesn't feel that bad. But here is how it sounds like. Where did it go? All right. Again, this is GMMK Pro. No technical mods to it. This is the original one. And I have their key... No, wait. This is the Ducky keycaps good in blue. I do like this. This is a kind of a nice blue. All right. But that aside, I think this is running Zeals? Zeal Telios switches. These are running Zeal Telios switches. All right. There we go. But as you can hear, not only was it hated for its lack of sound signature, it is a very terribly muted board. I don't hate that for it. In gaming, some people like clicky switches. And for example, one of my friends complained that after he bought his Razer keyboard, which is a clicky keyboard, he actually hated it because when he was typing regularly on normal things, he just was getting too distracted and found it annoying that every time he clicked, it was just piercing his brain. But when he was gaming, because of all the loud sounds that are happening, it became a distraction that was kind of welcome that you're pressing things. The thing is, he played stuff like CSGO. And because CS relied on you being quiet, just pressing a key and not, or sitting there and not pressing a key was fine. Because you hold the key W up, down. W up, down. Did I just say W up, down? The forward key, which is W, down. That's how it works. That's a sentence. The W key up, down. Yes, do you press it down? You press the W key down. There you go, which is forward. Okay. In most games. And in most games, being muted is fine. Especially, imagine having Cherry MX Blues clicky switches as you're talking to your teammates. It's horrible. This, because it's muted, sounds fine. It sounds great. Not only that, Glorious actually had the Glorious Link switches, which is both looped and unlooped. Sounded fine, and was actually, it didn't sound fine. It sounded muted. There was barely a sound coming from those types of switches. So these are the keyboards or mechanical keyboards you want if you're working in an office without getting that mushy silent keyboard feel, especially a 75% where you have your F row still available without going through the function row. So as you can see, I do like how this is. I use this as the right hand side, the nice good and blue, because good and blue doesn't have the non-regular section here. So this is the regular bottom row, 1.25 U's, and it suddenly turned into 1U, which is actually a good feature. I do like this in comparison to most keyboards. And over here, you still have the num row, escape, tilde. This is really useful in CSGO if you want to connect to servers and whatnot and allow for some other shenanigans. On the right hand side, of course, there is the knob, and as you can see here, it is a muted keyboard, as you heard earlier. Okay, let's see the side profile. This is the side profile. It does have and contain RGB, as you can see, and I don't, come on, there we go, and I don't hate it. It's nice because it has a lip. One of the main complaints that the custom keyboard community had as well is the amount of screws. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And on the other side, there is 6 more screws underneath there. And after those 6 more screws, if you want to disconnect the PCB as well, you have to do 2 more screws in the inside. I'm not taking this out right now. There's no freaking way. This is my quote-unquote first custom keyboard that was for gaming. And because, of course, I'm a gamer and I wasn't into the custom keyboard, it was, at the time, one of the better custom keyboards that I've quote-unquote bought, despite being hated by most of the community. Because, again, it is a muted keyboard. I can bring this to work and it doesn't sound horrible. Like, look. It's not intrusive. I don't have to worry about my office mate on the right or left to me being, can you tone down that keyboard? No, you have a keyboard that is muted. Perfect for office. It is firm, makes it responsive for gaming, so it does both. This is a good-ish keyboard for both productivity and gaming. You bring it to the office, you bring it for gaming. If you work from home, a muted keyboard is great, especially if you have to talk to someone. I used to work in tech support, and this is perfect for that because this is all you're here. Imagine talking to someone and this is how they type and you're going, oh yeah, so what's your problem? Okay, cool, I'm creating the case number now. It is A43, okay, so that is your case number. And what is the issue that you're having? Okay, is getting, like, I don't say that part, but that's the customer getting disconnected, and you're typing getting disconnected, and some people kind of just leave, right? Like they hate it. Or they don't leave, sorry. They leave a comment saying, oh yeah, keyboard was really, really loud, especially if you're running a mechanical keyboard. This is unintrusive in comparison to most mechanical keyboards, like the Mecha SF. That is much louder. That is much quieter. So yes, this is one that you would like. This is for both. If you want productivity, unintrusive, office environment keyboard, this is fine. But of course, some people didn't really like that. Okay, so now we are going to go to the actual next keyboard that I got. The Mark 65, right. The real custom keyboard that I got. Okay, this is the Mark 65. We are finally back into it. This is again the GMK Polybius matte with the GMK Polybius keycaps. It is printed on. One of the things I don't like about it, as you can see, I am scratching those sections and I don't like it. I might just change it for the actual control key because this is annoying to me more than anything. I hate that that is the case, but it is. It gets some shine. Same with the WASD. As you can see, there is shine. These are GMKs. Some say that it's much better because it doesn't get enough shine. But as you can see, there is some shine on it. And I don't hate it, but it is one of those, oh, I thought it would last longer. As you can hear, it is much louder than your regular keys. So let's actually try this. And I'm going to go back again because I was working from home at this point, right? And I wanted to change up how I did things. So as you can see on the left and right are 2 space bars and then another bit. So my space bar is cut in 2. And what this allows me to do is, of course, hold this very specific typing position and hit backspace. Backspace is normally over here. I would just hit it over here. I use my thumb. And on the right-hand side, you use your thumb for space. Or my finger for space. Because I normally use my finger. And the reset from J to over here is smaller than my reset from J to over here. Right? So, it allows me to have the tilde key. And this is the backspace key again, just in case. And this is the delete key. So, let's actually see how this sounds. Again. Because we did this at the start of the stream, as you guys know. Jesus. My weakness, numbers. Okay, but yes, as you can hear there, it is a louder keyboard. It is one of the nice, cleaner sounds. Despite being polycarbonate, one of the complaints about the Mark 65 that I've heard, that is, it resonates ping. I haven't found that to be a problem, at least with the switches that I use. And if you use lubed switches, and you lube the springs as well, you won't have a problem with this keyboard. And of course, I use the flat typing angle as well, as you can see here. So it's flat, come on, flat. It is slightly angled, as you can see, because I have a bigger bump for the back end side than it is on the bottom end side, so that I can have a slight typing angle that isn't too aggressive. But yes, this is the Mark 65. I use the function key in the middle instead. The function key is also over here, just in case. I do have Control, Windows, and Alt, because I still do need the Alt. But over here, it has function Alt function Control. So that's how I have it. And slider, shorter shift key, just like you would see over here. Honestly, these 2 keyboards are really nice. The only thing I don't quite like about the Mark 65, even though I do like its design where it's slightly blocky and rounded off, I wish it was about 2 to 3 millimeters thinner than it was actually currently. Because as you can see, with the 2 keys, it's almost 1 U. It's like maybe a half unit of a keyboard, thicker than a regular 65%. I like this thin border, but I also think that what is it called? The Keymecha SF is actually a little too small for my liking. I do wish it was a little bit bigger to show off a lot of this color, because as you can see, the color is really lovely. I like the color of this keyboard. However, you can barely see it from the top, and a lot of the color comes from the keycaps, which is nice, don't get me wrong. There are other issues with it, as you can see. The plate has gaps missing in certain sections, especially over, I think over here. And then there's this section over here where the screw, right? And I think the top one has one as well, as you can see here. There is a weird in-between section. So you have to remove this screw, unscrew the rest of it, and then remove that section here to even access the PCB. I would actually mil-max this board. I want to mil-max this board so I can turn it into hot swap, making it a nice hot swap alternative. And I might turn this into the keyboard I use for testing. instead of the Mark 65. I think the Mark 65 is a much more interesting keyboard because it has this split spacebar, but there aren't too many keyboards with a split spacebar that is also polycarb, which would be closer to what I would say is the lower end, quote unquote. I don't say it's the worst thing. It's just that polycarb is a much cheaper material than metal, right? So it will always be in the cheaper side for the most part, unless of course you're getting some weird specialized item, right? For example, the mode, was it the Sonnet? I forget which mode it was, but there was the mode boards where the bottom could hold a plate while having the sides have polycarbonate, frosted polycarbonate, which absolutely looked nice. As you can see some of the PCB on the inside, and as you can see here, you can see the PCB on the inside. I kind of like this. What you can do, or what I'm thinking of doing, is actually getting a sticker and putting it on the bottom, and you can showcase a design over there. That would be a weird, cool thing that you can do. Yeah. But this is my main keyboard. I love this keyboard. This is great. But of course, I have bought another keyboard after that, just to see what was going on at the time when I was missing out on some of the keyboards in the space at the time, because I remember hearing about this NK65, which I had so much trouble with. I do not recommend the NK65. The NK65 at the time was decent. It was pretty good. However, right now I do not recommend it. It is not the best keyboard. I would still say if you can find the Ducky SF, Mecha SF in these colorways, just get these. These look like a custom keyboard more than this thing does. I like blockier designs. As you can see, it's a nice, big, chunky, thick guy. It's big, it's thick. Look at that. Nice, simplistic, modernistic design. NK65 Super User Edition actually weirdly matches with some of the GMK, Glorious, this is the Glorious Olive. Looks quite nice. But, big but, it breaks. It's broken in like 5 different ways ever since I've gotten it. So, I'm gonna test it anyways in terms of sound in comparison to any of the other keyboards that we've had, as usual. Okay. Next test. Alright. Okay, so this is the NK65 with no real mods. These are running, if I'm not mistaken, the speed switches, speed copper switches, which has broke this keyboard, unfortunately. Wait, no. Speed coppers? Were they speed coppers? Unlubed speed coppers. That's what it was, because I have the lubed speed coppers over there. Or are these browns? Oh. Unlubed browns? Lubed browns. Unlubed browns. I think these are browns. Oh my god. This is what I hate. I don't have a keycap puller. They've all disappeared. Please don't scratch the board. Please don't scratch the board. There we go. Browns. Unlubed browns. Never mind. I lied. There are unlubed browns in here. Yes. Okay. There we go. As you can hear, it didn't sound that bad. There was a nice clean sound to it. These sound lubed. No, these are lubed Cherry MX Browns. It's Cherry MX Browns. The same Cherry MX Browns that are over in the old gaming keyboard. As you can hear over here. Let's move this aside. Oh. No, you don't. It sounds hollow. This does not. Nice sound signature, but it's a cleaner board. And same thing. Oh wait, these guys. This MK750, still nicer than the other keyboard we had, but this is better. As you can hear. So these are lubed Cherry MX Browns on the the NK65. It is slightly broken. This key doesn't work, but that's because the pad has ripped off, and unfortunately, there's something rattling around in there. I don't know what's rattling around in there, but we are probably going to open it up next time. Okay. All right. So that is what I've moved on to. And my newest technical keyboard, it's technically my newest. Let me turn this off real quick and clean it up. Again, the most useful tool, this brush. Oop. Over here. Put this back. Is again a 65. I seem to be liking 65s. My favorite is a 75. However, of course, I'm running out of space, so a 65 back then was what I needed. I still prefer the 75 because I don't want to lose the F-row. Not a lot of people use the F-row. Unfortunately, weirdly enough, I do. And if you are doing custom keys, you can turn that F-row into a numpad or a different set of F keys or up to F24. That way you can have keys that are normally used in daily operation, like F5, which is refresh, F11 for full screen, and I forgot what F12 was, but I did use that a couple times before. And you can change those to be macros. For example, you're on stream like me, instead of having a numpad on the side, you can just swap by hitting that F row. But at the time I didn't stream, so I went with 65% keyboards, allows me for the delete key and of course the arrow keys. Arrow keys I didn't use as much, but the cool thing about this board is that I can just turn this on. I don't have to plug it in at all. Here's the awkward part about this board. This board is made out of metal sections. So this is what Ducky tried to do on the mechanical keyboard scene, where I guess you can see there is a seam in that section because the way you screw it in, as you can see here, these are screws and there's the USB. I have thoughts on this. I hate this. I don't like this at all. I still wish it's on top. But to reduce the complexity, they have one piece that is cut, and then on top, of course, is a metal piece. This is actually a regular keyboard with... That's plastic. This is metal. Does it change the sound signature of the board? A little bit. It actually does. However, it's still plastic with an infill, with no fill. That is relatively hollow. There's a lot of plastic there. It's relatively thick, so it doesn't sound bad at all. However, I put in silent switches on this. So silent switches that sound like this. Previously, we had the Helios switches from Zeal PC, and they still sounded relatively loud. So we actually tore them apart on a previous stream and lubed them. So that's what we did. And this is what they sound like now. Again, this is a stock except for the keys. Okay, I don't understand what that says at all. Okay. One way to combat the horizon effect is to continue search when an otherwise terminal situation is judged to be particularly dynamic. Such heuristic continuation is sometimes called feedover. Artificial Intelligence 2nd edition. From which year? Don't know. Probably not anywhere close to 2024, which is the current year. But that is a silent keyboard. A lot of people still believe that mechanical keyboards are loud and you cannot get a silent mechanical keyboard. This is a silent mechanical keyboard. It's one of the nicer silent switches, the Helios. It doesn't feel very rubbery, because I know with Rubber Dome, it feels purely like rubber. This has a solid rubber to it. It doesn't have that excessive squish, that feeling that normal Rubber Domes have. And you might think this is a Rubber Dome keyboard. It is not. It is a really nice keyboard that is silent. And the reason why I do have silent keyboards is because of course, no, sorry, is because people can get doxed on stream. So when you are streaming, I put this on the side, you can barely see it. So if I do type in, like, for example, a password or anything, I go over here, type on the side, it is silent, so that even if I had a really good mic that picks all of this up, you won't be able to guesstimate via the sound signature of the board which one it is, because it is very, very low and it's much, much harder, right? And not everyone has, for example, Helios keyboard and then a Zeal keyboard and then a Lynx keyboard and then a Helios keyboard and then a Cherry MX Brown keyboard. It's much harder to, you know, figure out which one is which, especially if you're trying to figure out which keyboard he's using to put in his quote-unquote password for anything, right? So yes, it's that. Okay, so those are currently all of my keyboards. Am I missing anything? I went to the ROG, I went to Mark 65, and I guess as a surprise, I can show you my latest keyboard, my technically latest keyboard. I've been putting it off because I was trying to practice my soldering before I get back into it, because I haven't soldered it in a while. But since for the last few weeks, we've been doing a lot of soldering, I can bring this out. I didn't have it prepped, so it might be dug deep in, so I'll give me a few seconds. I'll get some water and also get the keyboard, but I'll get the keyboard first, and then I'll get the water. All right. So here is the keyboard! Ta-da! Let me put this away. Here's the keyboard. Alright, let me get some water and we're gonna open that keyboard, alright? I'm gonna be right back. Everyone get some water. If you're still here, get some water, drink some water first. It's been 2 hours. I have had coffee, but if you haven't drank water yet, please do drink some water. Alright, water check. Alright, I'll be back. I'll get water myself because I believe I'm out, which is why I've been avoiding drinking water. Alright, I'll mute the mic. Alright, back with some water. Put my headphones back on to be able to monitor the stream. But yes, this is one of the few keyboards that I've been trying to avoid for the longest time. And it's one of the keyboards I'm gonna hide this. One of the keyboards I kind of didn't want to touch just because I was scared of soldering. Simply because I was out of practice. Highly, highly out of practice. But This is the iron keyboard. I think this is iron 75 or 65. I can't remember which one's which. Ooh, as you can see, 65 by the looks of it. As you can see, foam insert, a bunch of PCB over here. So PCBs. But this is what the keyboard kind of looks like. Let's open this up. Ooh. Dude, it smells new. I haven't touched this in a while. I'm just hoping I don't break anything. Oh my god, this keyboard is stuck in here. It is just real stuck in here. Will I be moving the entire phone piece at this point? Might be. There you go. Alright. As usual, it has cloth over it because it is a custom keyboard. This is one of the quote-unquote higher-end custom keyboards I just bought on a whim because it looks so nice. And it was available at the time. And again, I was terrified because I haven't had any. It's on it. Here you go. This is the Iron 65 by the looks of it. It is 65, right? And it is in teal, if I'm not mistaken. Teal or some sort of blue. So 60, yeah, 65. I wanted to get to 75, but I couldn't justify it. As you can see, lovely, lovely color. Very comparable to one of my old favorite keyboards, which is one reason I bought this color. It's a darker version, right? Or a bluer version of the Mecha SF. That's why I got this keyboard. It's really nice. I do like it. So that's what it is. And yeah, look at that. Oh, that's so nice. I do like it. Here's the thing. The iron boards have been notorious for being, as you can see, they were notorious for being really bad in sound signature. But this is what we might be doing next week, depending on whether I get the Milmax or not. And honestly, I kind of want to try different switches. So I don't know. I just don't know what switch to put in this. That's the thing. I really have to look at more sound tests of this just to see which switches I want to put on this board. And that's the thing. It's really hard. I do like this, and I think GMK Vanier is a really good keycap set to put on this. So I'm going to show you the keycap set I bought to match this board. So let me close that before I actually accidentally scratch it. Expensive stuff. Gonna do this next time. But, okay. Go back in. Go back in. These keyboards. Come on. There we go. I put that back down. There we go. Here we go. And this is the keycap I bought. Keycap set I bought for this specific. I think it's too light though, unfortunately. Nice. This guy, IFK Vanier. Let me show you what that looks like. I believe all the keys are in there. Boom. Oh wait, is this the dark? Where's the darks? Did I have it in the other set? This is the whites. No, but effectively it would be this set with the dark green. I have the dark green somewhere else, I believe. Where are the dark greens? Let me pull that out, actually. Wrong ones. Wrong ones! But it's IFK Vanier. That's the one I'm looking for. Where are the rest of the Vaniers? Ah, there we are. Number 2 alphas. So it's the Vaniers. It's mods. And this is the add-on kit. Don't fall. Do not fall. I swear to God. Boom. So it's a darker keyboard set. As you can see, it is the dark set, and then you put it on that keyboard. I think it's gonna look absolutely dope, to be honest. My other set, just to have contrasting colors, because it is a bluish teal keyboard that looks really, really nice. I was thinking red would also go really well with it, just in case I wanted to change how it looked. Of course, I can always go with the whites, but the bright ones for Vanier I don't think that's gonna match quite as well with that type of keyboard, the Iron 165. We'll take that out, and I'll show you the other keycap set I wanted to use, which is also an Infinity set, weirdly enough. But this is going to be slightly different. It's this guy, and he guesses onto what that one is. I'm pretty sure some people know it. The other one I wanted to have was Hamon, and there are stock in a bunch of other websites, and I am tempted to get them, but I would rather buy another keyboard instead. So let me just rearrange these things, because it's been a while since I rearranged this, and I think... There we go. So this is Infinity Cabernet. So there's two versions of Cabernet. There is one that is regular and there is dark as well. Just like this set. So this set normally is light. So we'll see the light version of this. Come on. This is Infinity. Oh, by the way, Infinity made a collab with some of the VTubers I watch. So there's virtual YouTubers and or streamers who actually have an avatar instead of, you know, showing their flesh and blood, kind of like this. Right? Boom. Really nice, really dark. Then, of course, because it is of the brighter color set, and honestly, not bad, especially if you're running with this. Why is that being weird? Okay. Right? Nice color set, nice colorway. Don't you love it? It's amazing. I love it. I like this. This is really, really nice. I do really like this. But, so that it's in a nicer and darker version, that way the keys don't stand out as much, this is the dark version. It's just the legends. Only the legends have changed. But the color is different. So I don't know if I want to go with these or the dark ones, but these look really, really good. They match. They're a nice contrasting color from the... Hey dude, hey Cray, what's up? Gonna be what? I'm gonna be what? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, those are so nice. Yes, these are nice. I do like these. This is a nice keycap set to go with this big keyboard that we might be doing next week, might not be doing next week. The hard part for me is finding the keycaps that I want to put into it, because it's gonna be a relatively permanent connection for this. I do have two PCBs for this board, so I can make one of them a Mil-Max, the other one not a Mil-Max. But yes, this is Infinity Cabernet. Am I gonna be here in an hour or so? No, this is it. This is effectively the newest keyboard on my collection. So this is unfortunately it. Yeah, this is literally it. Where did the cover go? What do you ask? What is up? Do I have to stay here for an hour? Are you demanding I stay here for an hour more for no reason? Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, so this is Cabernet Dark. And of course, there are... I don't think I bought Red Dragon. It doesn't quite fit, unfortunately. I don't hate Red Dragon. It's just, it looks weird. Red Dragon, this is from GMK. GMK Red Dragon. This keycap set looks weird. In real life, the renders look much better than in real life. That's the thing. Let me just pull this out. I like Cabernet better, unfortunately. Oh, you're about to stream too. All right, let me just pull this out. Okay. I usually stream to 3 to 4 hours. Okay, look. The reason why I stream 3 to 4 hours on Mondays is because I screw up. Okay? Nothing to do with anything. This. I hate and love this keycap set because it's a really nice dark keycap set. A very dark keycap set. And I like it for it. However, the mods look weird. They just look weird. Like this looks weird. If I took those out, let me put this over here. If I took these out, this set looks fine. The red contrasting with the base of the really dark keycaps, pops. It pops a lot. It's almost as if it's floating, even in real life. Just looking at this. Look. It feels like it pops. It pops a lot. I like it. It's just these sections. I don't know what that is. Ew. Just ew. Combined together, it kind of looks ew. Yeah, no, of course, the other one is better. That's the thing I'm trying to say. Like, it looks weird. All the mods, for the most part, look weird. The base looks fine. Look, I take off all the accent colors. This thing looks fine now. Now it looks weird. See? Fine. Looks fine. Ignore this. Here. Right. Wait, yeah. Great. Looks fine. Looks great. Weird. Why is it bright red on a maroon? Yeah, that's the thing. The bright red on the maroon doesn't look quite right. If it was yellow, I think it might be better. If it was yellow. But then again, I don't like how this maroon pops. It's... Oh, wait a minute. It looks fine by itself in bright light. This is much darker. Is this why it looked good in renders? No way. Okay. What? No way. This does not look as red as it does in real life. I just realized. That's much darker. In real life, this doesn't look as bad, but it still doesn't look right. That's the difference. I don't love it. I don't like it. The alphas are fine. I'm okay with putting the alphas and putting something else with it. Like, I can put this on JMK Polybius, and this would probably pop out fine, to be honest. I don't think it's gonna look that bad. But yeah, a bright red on the maroon. That's why it looks awkward. It's almost orange. It's almost like this. I think this would have been better in general if it was everywhere. Yeah, that would have looked better because it matches the legends at the very least. Because I think it's the same color as the legends. It's a very poppy color. It's a terribly poppy color where it goes and begs for attention. Look at it. Your eyes are drawn to it completely and utterly because of how bright it is. It's crazy. Right? Okay. But yes, that is pretty much it. I'm gonna probably put something like that. I was planning to put Red Dragon on that the iron. But yeah, green. Unfortunately, green and teals, one of my favorite colors. Alright? So that's the thing. This keycap set is kind of a disappointment. I say kind of a disappointment, but that's mostly because of the mods, like you saw there earlier. I think the mods, if there was a way to make them match nicely, I'd probably go for it. But it's just the alphas look great. The alphas look absolutely fine. It's just that the rest of the board doesn't match with it. Or sorry, the mods doesn't match with the Red Dragon keycap set. So I might mix and match and see if it fits better in one way or another, instead of, you know, having the bright red on the maroon with really dark keycaps with a nice poppy alpha or nice poppy legend. My brain died there trying to think of what the letters are on a keyboard. Like, yes, it's called a legend. The Legend of the Red Dragon. But yes, it's one of the few keycap sets that I don't think was worth buying. So I got the Infinity Vanier. I'm gonna put the Cabernet. I'm gonna try both the Cabernet and the Vanier on the iron. So yeah, that is that. I don't mind mixing keycap sets. There's a lot of people who go, oh, just use one keycap set, it looks great. And I'm like, no. Have you seen this? Like, mix. It's great. Just mixing. Even this. I know it's a GMK. I get it. I get it. I get it. But look, the white in contrast with the blue, two different types of blues, it looks good. I don't... Gold accent, white. It's basically the colors of, you know, when you go on the beach and you kind of accept, and then you see far in the distance, there's like foam crests when... Yeah, like the foam crests of waves. Here's the foam crest of the waves, glittering in the sun, and then here's just the wave. It looks good. It looks nice. You know, that's the vibe I'm getting from this combination. So this is JMK Civilization. This is Ducky Good and Blue. And then this again is Ducky Good and Blue? I think this is Good and Blue. This is the extra keycaps on it, but yeah. I don't hate it. Oh, and this key, this is GMK, not GMK, this is Glorious, right? So mixing and matching keycap sets, really, I might do that in the future on stream to go, okay, let's see how we can mix up these keycap sets. It's gonna be a mess. It'll make Lego look tame. That's what I think. You might make Lego look tame. So yes, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff like that. We're gonna do complementary colors maybe and stuff, but that is for next time. Yeah, I'll do another keyboard stream next week. As you can see, I have a bunch of other stuff. One of the few other things that we might do is we might check out a numpad or check out 2 numpads next week. That way it's a shorter stream. And I know Cray said, oh yeah, normally I'm here about 3 to 4 hours, but that's because I make a crap ton of mistakes, which ends up making me spend 3 hours instead of my normal 2 to 2.5 hours. So yeah, stuff like this, oh, it looks so nice. And I get it, this is a Glorious board, but combination keycaps like these guys look great, right? It looks nice. Same with this. You think this is all GMK Polybius? Wrong. This is not all GMK Polybius. This is Cabernet. The spacebar is Cabernet. Yeah. So yeah, you can mix and match and it still looks cohesive, right? It looks great. What else? How about that? That's literally it. What else? I had my old other keyboards. Oh, that was all my old other keyboards. Oh, again, another mix set. Or, boom. This is a mix set. These are SA keycaps. There's 2 different SA keycaps. I forget the green one, but this is a Ducky Horizon. Ducky Horizon mods with Racing Green, I think it's called. It's based on an aircraft that was green at one point. And look at this. It matches it. Oh, I don't know how I did that. Okay. Okay. But yeah, okay, it's just a loose keycap. I understand now. Okay, but yeah, these are SA keycaps. Again, 2 different keycap sets that have been mixed and matched to make a really good looking or a cohesive keycap set. Again, cohesive. Again, cohesive. Right? Mixing keycaps is great. Alright. Have a nice one there, Cray. I will see you next time. And yeah, I'm ending the stream anyways. Thank you so much for hanging out and taking a look at the boards. It was basically all of my collection, all the way from all of the gaming keyboards I used to have, which is the reason why I got into custom keyboards. It's literally because all of the gaming keyboards, in one form or another, sucked in comparison to the custom ones that I kept hearing about, which is what got me slowly into the custom keyboard, with the Mark 65 being the most custom keyboard I technically own, and the Iron 165 being the latest one that I'm about to build in the next month or 2. So stay on for that. Of course, make sure to follow in all the social media platforms. I'm either on Enthusiast Impressions or Enthusiast Naka. So the streaming channel is Enthusiast Naka, and if you are looking for VODs, it is also on Enthusiast Naka. But if you're looking for specific reviews on something like the Mark 65, it'll be on Enthusiast Impressions. Of course, all of the links are down below, and make sure to have a nice one. I will see you guys next time. Bye. Oh, Next week will be a gaming keyboard stream. This is for people at the end, basically. Gaming keyboard stream. Sorry, keyboard stream next week. Again, Monday, tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So Tuesday will be your usual, what's it called, Mario Kart mushroomless runs against the ghosts. So time trials, mushroomless time trials to beat the Nintendo ghosts. There's also going to be on Wednesday Gris. So that is the stream schedule for the next few days. All right. Anyways, I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye. What the heck? What is